Hey, like Muhammad Ali says, the will got to be stronger than the skills. Today wasn't about skills. Today was about will strength. And I knew the type of fighter I was fighting. This guy's a triathlon athlete, for crying out loud. And if I was tired, I knew he was more tired because I worked very hard for this. He's never been 12 rounds before. So we knew we had to break him down. Body shots were hurting him. But this is what he's all about, fighting the best. This is the fight game. You know, this is what we signed.
The boxing universe is in total disbelief right now as Teofimo Lopez just dropped a retirement bombshell that no person saw coming after his crushing defeat to Shakur Stevenson at Madison Square Garden. What was meant to be the grandest night of Teofimo's career shifted into one of the most heart-wrenching and emotional scenes in modern boxing history, as he declared he's quitting the sport immediately. Just hours after falling to Shakur Stevenson before thousands at MSG, Teofimo sat down for a post-fight talk that will go down as one of the most stunning moments of 2026. With obvious sadness in his eyes and a broken tone in his voice, Lopez told a reporter something that sent massive waves through the entire combat sports community.
You can't tell me I'm not great. You cannot tell me I'm not the double greatest since Muhammad Ali. This is what I do. This is what I do best. Now, just to steer it up, I might retire after this. Retirement, man. I'm kind of tired.
Teofimo claimed with visible agony, "I'm finished. I gave everything I possessed tonight, and it wasn't sufficient. I can't keep doing this to myself and my loved ones. This is my final fight." The remark came completely out of nowhere, with nobody in the arena or watching at home expecting such a heavy announcement from the former lightweight king. Social media erupted instantly after those words left Teofimo's mouth, with fans expressing everything from panic to grief to denial that this could truly be the end. However, before we explore the full retirement news and what it implies, let's discuss what actually occurred inside that ring that broke Teofimo Lopez so thoroughly. The bout itself was a masterful display from Shakur Stevenson, who proved exactly why he's labeled one of the most gifted boxers on the entire globe right now.
It's millions if you could make hundreds.
Of millions?
Yeah.
You believe you can make hundreds of millions outside of boxing?
I believe so, yes I do.
Well, I understand where you would get your confidence.
From the initial bell, Shakur managed the tempo, the gap, and the story of the fight with his elite boxing skill and defensive magic that left Teofimo annoyed round after round. Teofimo came out fierce in the first 3 frames, trying to stalk Shakur and land the heavy shots that his camp had been promising all week during the hype. But Shakur made him miss constantly, landing sharp counter blows that snapped Teofimo's head back and earned points with the officials, who were clearly swayed by the accuracy. By round 4, you could see the irritation growing in Teofimo's body language, as nothing he attempted was working against Shakur's defensive talent and ring intelligence.
Oh, I'm very happy. The name of the game in boxing is hit and don't get hit. I'm a master of it. I didn't get hit, and I hit the guy more than he hit me. So it was a great performance for me. I'm happy with it.
Insider sitting ringside said you could hear Teofimo's corner begging with him to remain patient and wait for his chances instead of forcing the action wildly. Round 6 was especially painful for Teofimo as Shakur landed a gorgeous 3-punch sequence that dazed Lopez and had him grabbing on for survival against the ropes. The Madison Square Garden crowd screamed as Shakur showed a predatory instinct that many doubters argued he didn't have, going for the finish and landing strikes on a damaged Teofimo. Somehow Lopez endured the round, but his face was already displaying the trauma from Shakur's pinpoint punching, and his eyes looked hollow for answers that weren't appearing. The middle rounds from 7 through 9 were pure mastery from Shakur Stevenson, who was fighting with massive poise and making Teofimo look average.
Well, Shakur, congratulations. Biggest fight of your career, and you come up with looked like the finest performance of your career. Was that the performance you were looking for?
Nah, I came in here to prove a point. It wasn't the performance I was looking for because I came in here trying to prove a point.
Every time Lopez tried to build any offense, Shakur would kill it with perfect rhythm, better footwork, and counter-striking that earned points and crushed Teofimo's spirit. One ringside expert later described it as watching a grandmaster playing against someone who just learned the basics, with Shakur being 3 moves ahead mentally. Round 10 saw Teofimo make one last desperate charge, throwing everything he had left in the tank, trying to find that one knockout blow that could flip everything. He touched with a few solid shots that got the fans vocal for a second, but Shakur handled the heat and came right back with his own volleys. The final 2 rounds were honestly tough to watch for Teofimo Lopez supporters as their fighter looked totally beaten both physically and emotionally while Shakur drifted to victory.
My opponent was a hell of an opponent. He came here, he pushed me to another level. He made me make adjustments in there, he made me think a little bit. And I had to show y'all that I'm a dog too. Y'all keep saying that I'm a runner, I'm pillow-fisted, so I kind of stood there.
By the time the final gong rang, Everyone in Madison Square Garden realized what the verdict would be, and Teofimo realized it, too, based on the look of misery on his face. The scorecards came back 118 to 110, 117 to 111, and 119 to 109, all in favor of Shakur Stevenson in what was clearly a tactical thrashing disguised as a competitive match. Shakur celebrated with his crew while Teofimo stood in his corner looking absolutely destroyed by the truth that his best wasn't good enough on the grandest stage.
Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, it was a great performance, man. He came in with a game plan. He didn't let up.
The post-fight chat in the ring was short and awkward, with Teofimo giving brief replies and clearly wanting to exit the spotlight as fast as possible. But it was the subsequent interview backstage that really proved just how shattered Teofimo was by this defeat and what was crossing his mind in those painful moments. Sitting in the media room with his face still marked up from the scrap, Teofimo opened up in a way we've never seen from him before about his path. Lopez began by discussing the fight itself, saying, "Shakur was the superior man tonight. He pulled off his game plan flawlessly and I couldn't solve him. Give him praise." The modesty in that remark stunned people because Teofimo has always been known for his loud ego and refusal to give rivals much credit, even in loss.
Teofimo Lopez said, "Listen, everyone knows I won this fight. 90% of the people here were cheering for Lopez coming in. They all booed him after he..."
But then Teofimo's mood turned sharply as he started discussing what this loss signifies for his career and his life moving ahead beyond boxing. With his voice shaking slightly, Lopez continued, "I've been doing this since I was a small child. I've given up everything for boxing. My youth, my connections, my health, everything." You could see the pain rising as Teofimo thought on all the years of hustle, all the brutal training camps, and all the physical toll his body has endured. He went on to clarify, "I thought I had what it takes to be the king. I really felt I could beat anybody when I'm at my peak, but tonight showed me the reality." That raw honesty about meeting his ceiling as a fighter was tough to witness, especially for fans who have traced Teofimo's path from the start.
That didn't shock me. By the way, I don't think he was badly hurt with the first knockout. I think what he was more hurt by was realizing this little motherfucker's coming out there and winning round after round, outlanding him. He knew by the middle of that fight he had to turn something around. And by the way, he gave it a little bit more early in the second half of
The reporter asked if this was just the sadness talking or if he was serious about walking away from boxing at only 27 years old with so much left to achieve. Teofimo looked straight into the lens and said the phrases that will mark this moment in boxing lore for years to come. "I'm retiring. This was my last fight. I have nothing left to prove and nothing left to offer. I need to care about my family and my brain now." The room went totally quiet as everyone digested what they just heard, with the interviewer clearly rattled and struggling to ask more questions. Social media absolutely flared the second those words were uttered, with boxing fans around the globe filling Twitter, Instagram, and every site with thoughts.
If Teo is Gordo and not just coming in trying to hammer damage, if he's Gordo, you got something going. There's gonna be a lot of IQ up in there. Yo, I mean, which one of the two beat Loma? Which one of the two beat Josh?
One fan immediately posted, "No way Teofimo is serious about quitting. He's just moody right now. Give him a few weeks and he'll be back," mentioning comeback bouts. Another loyal follower wrote, "This is crushing to witness. Teofimo gave us so many iconic moments. If this is truly the end, thank you for everything, champ." The argument instantly started about whether this retirement claim is genuine or just a visceral reaction to a hard loss that Teofimo will eventually take back. Many boxing gurus and critics were quick to post their views on social media about what this means for the sport if Teofimo actually stays away. ESPN boxing voice Timothy Bradley posted, "Teofimo is one of the most gifted athletes of this era. I hope he takes time to reflect before making this choice final."
Teofimo Lopez, from a degree, he does have a high boxing IQ as well. He does. I mean, he was able to deal with Lomachenko. He was able to deal with Taylor and other guys. You know, he does possess a high boxing IQ. He has that explosiveness or that elite.
Hall of Fame coach Freddie Roach added in with his outlook, saying, "Losing a major fight is painful, but quitting at 27 is wild. The kid has at least 5 to 10 more years of top fighting in him." However, some folks close to Teofimo's circle weren't entirely shocked by the retirement talk based on chats they had with him leading into this bout. One source who spoke to press members shared, "Teo told people near him that if he lost to Shakur, he might be done. He put everything into this camp and this night. That detail adds weight to the idea that this retirement isn't just a sudden outburst, but something Teofimo had actually been weighing as a real outcome. During the post-fight talk, Teofimo also spoke about the physical cost that boxing has exacted on his body over the years of amateur and pro fights.
But I'm leaning towards Teofimo. Okay. Just because I like him. I like him more. He's a good friend of mine. Okay. And then
Lopez shared with visible hurt. My hands ache every day. My back hurts. My head hurts. I'm 27, but I feel like I'm 40 because of all the hits I've taken. These medical worries are absolutely valid and represent a truth that many boxers face, but few are willing to admit openly while still active. The brain stress from years of gym wars and fighting is something that more and more boxers are taking seriously, especially younger stars who have seen the long-term damage. Teofimo continued by mentioning his family and how this loss and potential exit will affect his bond with his wife and little son. My son is growing up. I want to be there for him. I want to be sharp for him. What's the point of being a hero if I can't recall his childhood? That heavy quote moved many people who realize that there's more to life than boxing fame and gold belts on the wall.
He was the world champion. There is no comparison to Shakur's style and my son's style. Yeah. My son is more entertaining. You know what I'm saying? He has more, how you call it? He has more,
that impact there.
what do you call it when you have a lot of,
The heavy weight of the moment was clearly touching everyone in the room, including tough boxing media folks who have seen thousands of bouts. Teofimo's dad, who has been his coach throughout his career, was clearly shaken in the background and refused to speak when asked by journalists. The bond between Teofimo and his father has always been messy and intense, with both the finest and worst times of Teofimo's career involving his dad's shadow. Shakur Stevenson, who was doing his own winter interviews, was asked about Teofimo's retirement claim and gave a polite but blunt reply. Shakur noted, "I respect whatever choice Teo makes. This is a tough sport. If he feels like it's time to quit, that's his right, but he's a great of a warrior." The class and victory from Shakur stood in contrast to some of the insults we saw during the lead-up, proving the respect that exists between fighters.
Granddad is focused, I'm focused, we all locked in on the task, but Teofimo Sr. is nowhere to be found. Last night he was in the lobby, drugged out, head over heels.
I don't gotta worry about that. You
so
focusing on me,
day,
B.
Right now,
yes, you is.
He's emotional.
Yes, you is.
That's why he acting like
you clowning.
As news of the exit spread, other boxers and boxing names began posting with their views and ideas on what this implies. Former rival Vasily Lomachenko shared a post saying, "Teofimo is a real fighter. Whatever he picks, he should be proud of his run and trophies." Current lightweight star Gervonta Davis wrote, "Damn, I was hoping we could square up one day. Respect to Teo for everything he's done in this game." The wave of support from fellow stars shows how much respect Teofimo has built despite some of the messy moments and quotes throughout his journey. Boxing boss Bob Arum, who has promoted Teofimo, gave a statement saying, "I hope Teofimo takes time before making any final moves about his future in boxing." The truth is that retirement words made right after painful losses are often ignored once the feelings fade and the boxer has time to think.
He said he's the last fight with ESPN. Well, he's in no position to say that because Top Rank has an exclusive deal with ESPN, and he'll fight with whatever network we want to put the fight on.
We've seen it many times throughout boxing history where stars retire in the heat of battle only to return months or years later for one more shot. However, something about the way Teofimo spoke and the hurt in his eyes suggests this might be different from those usual emotional exits we've seen before. The legacy debate is already starting as people argue where Teofimo Lopez sits among the boxers of his age group if this truly is the end. His record includes wins over Vasily Lomachenko, Richard Cummey, and several other top names that will be kept as major feats. At his peak, Teofimo showed a mix of speed, power, and swagger that made him one of the most thrilling boxers to track in the whole sport.